direction. Just look around and find at least something good. All you need will come to you. I'll never end your spell.
Welcome back to Two Canadians at Kafe Lise, a bigger podcast. Episode 23, the update to 9.1. I'm your host, Dr. Anton, and with me is
DJ Spencer.
DJ Spence. All right. One of these days we'll figure out how we're going to announce these things.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say, the title first and then our names, or our names first and the title, whatever. But it's the 23rd episode. We're talking about update 9.1. So it should be it should be interesting. It was an interesting update because they did a lot of little cosmetic stuff in this update, but nothing that was like groundbreaking, right? It's more of quality of life fixes, bug fixes, and then some new stuff done to the UI a little bit. But game wise, it's not like earth shattering. You know what I mean?
No. Well, it's your typical mid-season update, right? Where they focus on bug fixes and
Yeah.
like some minor stuff, right? So
Minor stuff, but then adding some new stuff too, which was kind of cool. And yeah.
Yep.
So I guess for those of you who want to know the order we're going to be talking about stuff, we'll do our best to try to summarize it a little bit here. We'll talk about cosmetics. We'll talk about the store, stuff that's happening in the store. We'll talk about eliminations a little bit. We'll talk about some of the new cosmetics that they've thrown in. Then we'll talk about the Bugle a bit, and then a few of the other things that have been fixed and adjusted. So it's kind of this loosey-goosey. This is how we're going to talk about stuff. It's a little bit harder, I guess, with an update like this, just because there's so much little things. So we're not going to necessarily talk about every little thing. I've also changed the layout of this one. So if you're watching on YouTube, instead of side by side, we're up and down. And this way I was thinking, well, I could put stuff on the side for you to see a little bit better without obscuring everything. So I could put like the change notes from Bigger on the side there. We can show
that side. Or this side?
Let's see. Am I pointing the right way? Yeah, that side.
Wait.
Yeah, you're pointing the...
anyways.
Nope, wrong. There you go. Yeah, just to our side.
Yeah.
And we'll put up little screenshots that we can find for all the different things we talk about, just so you can see it as we go.
Yep.
But yeah, to get things started, I guess one of the big things is, well, obviously the big thing is they released a new Legacy season. So they went just chronological. They went season 2, Hunters, which is great for me because I started in season 4, so I never had access to Hunters.
Yep.
And it's going to be great for a lot of people too, because this was for people who have been having a hard time getting certain plans, like especially the portable signal plan. This is the season it came out. Now I know I've had the portable plan forever. I don't know, because you get out of the crates and stuff, but I guess some people have been having trouble finding it. So, and you started in season 3, so you didn't have access to this either.
Yeah, I think it took me halfway through season 4. I think was by the time I got the portable plan, maybe even a little later. But
Yeah.
I want to say about then.
Okay.
Because you do have to grind the crates, right? Because
Yeah.
the rarity kind of indicates what the drop rate is. So, yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to be huge for a lot of people, and it's like level 30 on the Legacy. So, and they also since we're talking about Legacy, we'll also mention that they've adjusted XP required for the different levels of the Legacy. This is to keep in the fact that when those seasons first came out, they didn't have XP boosters in the battle passes, and so they were finding that people were finishing these legacies a little too quick for their liking, and so they adjusted the XP. That did cause a bit of an issue with some people, maybe all people. I'm not 100% sure because I didn't really notice it myself, but I wasn't keeping as tight of tabs on it as some people may have been. So some people noticed that, ooh, they were at, say, level 42, and then they jumped down to 38 or something like that.
Mhm.
So that wasn't intended. So they fixed that, and I know I heard from one person that their level jumped back up. They couldn't remember exactly if that's where they were, but I'm sure it was pretty close if it wasn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the legacies are going to take a little longer to get through. As far as I know, you're still going to get the XP boost. It's
Yeah.
just more XP is going to be required to finish the legacy,
Yeah.
keeping to try to keep into the how long it should take kind of thing.
Yeah. It's basically going to be I think the same amount as what it is for like the current seasons type thing
Right,
in the current structure.
right.
Yeah.
Whereas before, I think they had it set to what you needed back then
Back
without
then.
boosters. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
yeah.
Other plans that are found in the season 2 Hunters
Mm.
Legacy season, uh, Fake Glint, the all important crossbow,
Yeah.
the Mosin, and the John.
Oh, okay. I
So
wasn't sure if I didn't realize the Mosin was part of that season.
yeah,
Okay.
I didn't realize that either. Like I knew the crossbow 100%,
Yeah.
and I actually went back to like the season update information screen. So yeah,
Yeah, and different skins for the different weapons too. And there's actually some really
yeah,
nice skins that came out in that season. I didn't realize that. I saw some that I really liked. There's one for the pigeon shotgun that looks really good, and then they had I guess, a
I
version
think
of
it's the
it for,
Blackwood is the silver
yeah,
one that you're thinking of.
maybe, yeah, I think it's Blackwood. They also have it for the IZH, and I don't like it
Mhm.
as much on the IZH as I do on the pigeon. It just looks a little bit better on the
Yeah,
pigeon. So that's kind of cool. There are some actually really nice skins, and then
yeah,
there's
and
the hunter's outfit.
yeah, the Hunter's outfit is like a banging one. I love that one.
Yeah,
Um, it's always been one I was like, oh, I wish I would have started playing at this point. Like the Prepper skins is like, yeah, I've never been one for a hazmat suit, um, but like the Hunter skin, I've
yeah.
always loved that.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a nice looking skin, and that was
yeah.
one of the reasons I went for that. I bought before the
Oh,
latest Outlander pack or whatever that had that
that
version of the hunter
Hunter
skin,
pack. Yeah,
because I really like that skin, and so I
yep,
figured, well, this is a way for me to get that skin. Now I'll be able to get the other versions of it, but I still like the one I got from the pack, so it's kind of cool.
yep.
So yeah, that was Legacy 2. Next, we'll talk about some of the new changes they made to the Cosmetics Shop, and a bit of the UI reorganization. So the first thing you notice when you go in is they've reordered the tabs, and that's a little confusing at first,
Mhm.
but it's not terrible. It's just, instead of going one right bumper to get to your loadout and everything, it's one left bumper.
Yep,
You can go left on the UI and get to your
yep.
stuff. So it's just remembering that's pretty minor. But then instead, now when you hit one right bumper, you get right into the store,
Mhm.
which is kind of nice in some ways. Like, I think before the store was left, so they basically swapped
Yeah,
them, didn't they? They kind
I
of just
think
swapped
so.
them. So it's really, I get that they're probably trying to make the store seem a bit more featured, so that people maybe
Yeah,
see it first or a little bit quicker.
yeah,
Even though it's still the same amount of bumpers. It's just, if you hit right,
yeah.
you're going to hit the store. Um, but in there, they added a new tab. So they've always had the standard featured tab, which shows you a couple big things and some four little things, like for weapon skins or little upgrades, and the two major upgrades. But now they've added a tab for custom, well,
Weapon.
sort of like for skins. It's a skin
Yeah,
customization tab. It's like its own little thing,
yeah.
and it's not just for weapons. It's also for other things as well, other outfits and changes and that kind of thing as well. And it's really nice because it's got its own little, well, at least for the guns. I'm not sure if it is anything different for the other ones, but it has its own little, like, view. It's like its own little table that you're looking at the guns on.
Yeah.
I really like that view. Um, the only thing would have thought would be nice is if they had that view also when you're in your inventory area and you're looking at skins there.
Hmm.
And the reason being, when you're in the store, all you're seeing are skins that are available to purchase,
Yeah,
not skins you own.
yeah.
So it'd be kind of cool to get that same view with skins you own.
Yeah, I
I don't know.
definitely
Yeah.
like it. It's like a
Yeah.
lazy Susan, right, for your weapons, and then you could
Yeah.
like look around, and if you look at like what it's made out of, it's kind of smart, right? Because it's all like stuff you'd probably find like in the Outlands or whatever. So it's like a bike wheel, and then there's like a little platform on top,
Yeah.
and uh, this is one thing which is super cool. I didn't even realize this until like a little like after, but Half Metal Fox actually has two Easter eggs in, and they actually are both in this cosmetic shop.
Yeah.
And it's the first time that there's been something added for any video partner since I think the OG campaign partners and their bags, right?
Right.
So both of them have been found, and so one of them is if you look at the IZH on the wheel itself, on the bottom platform, uh, there's an actual like his mascot or logo.
Yeah.
Um, it's under there on a little piece of wood, I think it is. And then on the other one is, I'm trying to
On
remember
the
which one.
VZ52.
Yes, on the
Yeah.
VZ52. At one end, it's being propped up by a book, and then on one of the sides it says "Boo," um,
Yeah.
which
And
is
yeah, it's kind of cool. And when he first talked about this, and I think heard him mention something about it's in the shelter or whatever. I was looking around, I was like, I had no clue where this thing was. Like, what are you
yeah,
talking about? And then he released his video, and I said, oh, it's in the customization screen, which is
yeah,
cool. And that's a
yeah,
neat little way that they can add in things for popular streamers like that. Without having to have something necessarily out in the game that they have to,
yeah.
you know, that could become, you know, maybe that not age as well. Maybe if it's out in the counter here, it's just in the customization area. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's definitely awesome
Yeah,
to see something like that. It's like I was thinking about it. I don't know. I think we've talked about it, but like I had a viewer at one point said like they may have mentioned it in dev stream. I don't like self promoting, especially like in the dev stream, but like they had put in dev stream once and my stream and a couple other streams. It's like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if there was a poster of two Canadians at Kafe Lise on one of the Kafe Lise buildings, right? I was like,
yeah,
oh
yeah.
my god, that would be insane. I'm like, but you know, we're small time,
For a
but
small
it's all
time,
good.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
we're
and
good.
and
Maybe one
and
day.
they don't have podcast. They didn't have podcasts back then.
No,
It'd
we're a
be like
radio
a
show. It'd
radio
be a radio
show.
show.
It'd be
Yeah,
the
there we go.
equivalent. Yeah,
Yeah. Outlander's radio show or something like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Your voice is in the Outlands.
Be so
Yeah.
cool. Just us rambling around.
Yeah, who
Uh,
knows? Maybe in a couple of years, if we ever
yep.
get to the Fox size,
Mhm.
something like that could happen. But you never. Yeah,
Yep.
it's all cool.
Yep.
So what's the next thing? So
So
that was the
next,
shop.
yeah, next is the return of the premium Outlander pack, which I want to say it was like a month or two ago. They actually put out a Twitter poll asking which premium pack would they like to see back. The community would like to see back, and the Outlander uniform, which is the Den Grand Dodd um, version of it, because there's two versions of it, but that's
Oh,
the
okay.
version that got they brought back. Um, so this is a premium pack. It's $70 US, I believe, and $90 Canadian. And with that, you get the skin. We're going to post the picture of the actual skin
Yeah.
on the side, and you also get 4,000 crowns with that. This pack was originally released January 16th, 2020. And it was available until September 14th, 2020 as well. And towards the end, I had looked, they actually had a sale on it back then. I was almost like 50% off, or it was 50% off. But
Oh,
either
wow.
way, um, I think it's a cool looking skin. Um,
Yeah, no, it is
I
actually
like
kind
it.
of nice, and I was a little confused by it too, because I thought it was the same one that the PlayStation players were getting. Because
Oh,
there's one the
yeah.
PlayStation players can get if they have a sub to PS Now or something.
Yes.
And I thought it was the same thing, but it's not.
No,
It's
no.
different.
No.
Um,
So it's the one that the PlayStation players got is um, a variation of the other Outlander pack that we have, and I think the one they got is like it's like a purplish or it's a greenish. It's just like a slight color alteration, kind of like your hunter skin that you bought.
Right.
Um, so it's the same thing. It's just a different color. Um, it would be cool if they came out with an Xbox version, but we got the bigger jacket back then, right? When
Yeah,
the Xbox Game Pack perk came out. So I
Xbox
don't
did
know
get
if
quite a few exclusives.
yeah, so I don't know if PlayStation ever got that jacket. So
No, yeah, I probably at least not yet. Anyways, not that I know of. Yeah,
mhm. So
yeah. So it's a neat pack, and if you don't mind spending the money to to get the crowns, because you get quite a bit of crowns out of it.
yep,
It's a good one. It's a good one to look for to try to get anyways.
yep. And it like it is a free game, right? They need to
Yeah,
generate revenue one way. So one way of doing it is they made it easier to access the cosmetics in game, and they're re-offering this skin that a year ago, like a lot of players weren't playing it, like
yeah.
the
And I wasn't
current
even.
player
I
base,
was
right?
playing it. I was playing it, but I didn't. I don't even remember it. So I probably wasn't even looking at that pack at the
Yeah,
time. Yeah,
exactly. So
yeah.
yep.
Um, Next is part of the. Might as well talk about the elimination changes they made. Well,
Yep.
changes. They made changes, eliminations, in season 9 in general, which was the addition of the eliminations crates. So this update, they added in a new skin that you can get out of that crate. So similar to when they did Shootout, when they did the Shootout crates for Shootout, they came out with and that was during the Junker season. They came out with the Beast skin in Shootout, which was looked just like the regular Junker one, but it was like kind of a um, what do we call it? It's like a bronze colored jacket, but
Oh
it's sort
yeah,
of shiny a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it's
it's like I think it's more red with like a gold lion or something like that on it, or dragon.
I always thought it was more like kind of bronzy,
Okay,
but
okay,
that's me. I guess
yeah,
it's open to interpretation. But
yeah.
that was the shootout one called Beast, and they also had a corresponding helmet and bag. But for junkers, I mean not for junkers, but for eliminations, they added another variation of the junkers outfit, and this one's called was it Dead Eye? Oh, I have it right here. Dead Shot.
Uh,
It's
Dead
called the
shot.
Dead Shot skin.
Yeah.
And so there have been, we'll put a picture up as well. There has been a couple of screenshots taken of it. It looks really interesting, really kind of cool. It's almost like not quite a black and white version, but it's a darker version of the Junker
Mhm.
skin. Um, to me, it looks a little, almost like it's kind of oily. And I don't know, if that's the
Yeah.
intended um, effect that they were looking for, but it almost looks like you kind of been dipped in oil a bit. You know how that the clothes get that oiled up look, sort of.
Yep.
So it's kind of neat. I kind of I do like it, and I'm looking forward to. I don't play a lot of eliminations, but no, this is a reason to try to get back into eliminations a bit more.
Yeah,
Um,
I definitely started playing a little more eliminations. I played a few games there just before we jumped on the call, and
yeah,
like the last couple of streams too. Like I've actually ended my stream with like one or two elimination games. So
yeah, no, that's a good call. So I'll have to do stuff like that too, just because it would be kind of cool to get this new outfit,
yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
and
but
actually,
yeah, that's all. Oh,
oh,
go ahead.
sorry. So just before the last game before I jumped on the call, someone actually had it in.
Oh, nice.
They were on the other team, but it was kind of cool to actually see someone have it. And like you said, people have started posting pictures of it.
Yeah, I'm curious if there's going to be additional. That's the outfit, but I wonder if there's going to be a corresponding headgear or bag like
Yep,
a Beast has.
yep,
So, okay. So what's next? So that was the elimination skin.
yep. Next, they released. I guess it's like a weapon skin set. Um,
Right.
I'm going to call it a set just because it applies to every weapon, right? If
Yeah,
I'm not mistaken. Not like
I'm pretty sure.
yeah, not like when a skin comes out for like a season. It's just for like that specific gun, right? So they released Nebula and Mamba. Nebula is like purple, like it's the stripes, right? And it's
Yeah,
like
it's a stripy
purple,
one.
white, and black. if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and it looks like the kind of stars intermingled in with the purple and the black and everything.
Yeah. And then the other one is Mamba, which, like, to me, it almost looks like a snake skin type thing, but
That it is.
it I
It's
know a
like
lot.
a dark snake skin. So
Yeah,
it's really hard. It's almost too subtle
yeah,
because sometimes on some guns you can barely make it out, and it's like, okay, is this a black gun or is there anything here?
yeah,
Other guns maybe it's a little bit easier to see, but yeah, it's a dark snake skin, and it's almost like a wrap because you've seen there's that other snake skin that you can see on weapons. It's like a green one
yeah,
and it's really pronounced. And I kind of like the green one.
yeah,
But yeah, it's like a wrapped in a sort of skin. I think they're doing the same thing with this one. It's just harder to notice.
yeah, yeah. And um, I don't know about you. I know a lot of people in the last dev stream where they talked about 9.1. A lot of people said Nebula. Pirate herself said she prefers Nebula, but I'm probably going to go with Mamba.
Yeah,
I'm not
Mamba.
I'm not as a flashy guy, right? So it's like for me, it,
Okay,
uh,
we got a third host,
yeah.
so just to put up with him.
So yeah, I think Mamba is my preferred one out of those two. Oh,
Yeah.
and just to clarify too, these skins currently are not available in crates yet, but in the future, it sounds like they will be available. They kind of mentioned that in the dev stream.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, right now you can purchase them. They are showing up in the featured in the stores sometimes. Like I have one, it's like the one of the Mambas, and
Yeah,
I think it's like, and it must be because I have a lot of the things in the queue already. So maybe it's eventually it's going to show up in the store, but it's showing up for me because I have everything before it in the queue. I don't know, but it's like really weird. Like 40, I want to say it was like quite a few days. I wanted to say 46 days. I don't think it was that long, but
okay.
it was something really long before I'd see it. And it's like, okay, well, great. That's great, but I could just go buy this in the gun customization right now. So there might be some tweaking they need to do.
Yeah.
Um, Unless the plan is eventually that they're not all available all at the same time. But
Oh, maybe.
they haven't mentioned anything like that to us. So
No.
um but yeah, that's essentially it. Those are the two new weapon skins, like you were
Yeah.
saying. Another thing they released this with this update is the Vinyl's collectible badge finally.
Yep.
So if you're one of the ones who got all the vinyl albums, you can finally display your Discophile badge, and it's a nice little badge.
Yeah.
We'll put a picture of it, a screen capture of it up right away here, or even right now. But it's it looks like a record. It almost looks like the kind of thing you would have on your wall if you got like a gold record or something. Like it's
Yep.
the record. It has some I think it's like level bars
Yep.
below the record, and then some notes floating in the air just above it.
Yep.
So it looks really good.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
The 3D titles there, they just completely like impressed me. Like ever since they started doing the 3D ones there,
Yeah.
they all look really good.
No, they've done some really good jobs, and
Yeah.
it's great that it took them a little long, but I get it. It's a small team, and they have a lot of things to work on. So
Yeah.
a title like this, yeah, maybe it wasn't the highest priority, but it's great that they finally got it out. So hopefully when they come up with the next collectible, which may be next season,
Yep.
nothing's been confirmed, I don't think, but hopefully it doesn't take so long to get a title for that one.
Yep.
Maybe they worked on them side by side. You never know. Yeah. So, and then after the vinyls badge,
It's cosmetic changes. So now the
yeah,
community's been asking for this for quite some time now. It's kind of like mixing and matching headgear and headwear and stuff like that. So now some headgear can now be worn with certain headwear. Sorry, I'm kind of like
it's like
headgear,
hats.
yeah, hats with like face masks and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
And certain outfit sets can be worn with certain face wear. So this is
yeah.
something that like I said, the community's been asking for a long time. I think the one big thing that people are really going to like is the fact that you could now add stuff to like the tactical balaclavas. Um,
That's the big thing, I think, is the balaclavas. You were sort of stuck with them on your, you put them on, and that was it. That's all you
Yeah,
could have.
yeah. So now you could
Um,
add to it, and yeah.
yeah, and I think did that include? So I know you could put hats on, but did they all include stuff like eyewear, or is that separate?
I believe eyewear as well.
Okay,
Yeah, I
yeah,
didn't
I
play
haven't
around
really
with it
played
too
around with
much.
them. No, neither have I, because I don't typically wear the balaclavas myself.
Yeah,
I like the other, love the other ones, but
yeah,
it's cool that they're giving you a bit more control over some of the customizations, which is cool.
yep, for sure.
Um, next thing after that is the bugle, the nerf of the bugle, which I think part of the problem is like after the H bar and the SG1 were adjusted, the bugle sort of took over as part of the new meta because it was a gun that had very very little recoil, and it was just headshotting instantly practically. It was just one of those guns that as long as you weren't like way off your mark, you're
Yep,
it was getting headshots pretty easily. So they adjusted it a little bit. They adjusted the recoil and the bloom a little.
yep,
From what I can tell, it's still being used to really good effect. So it's
yep,
not like it was a total nerf.
yep,
It's still a good gun. I think it's just more in line to where it should be as a purple,
yeah,
semi-automatic burst weapon.
yeah,
And they also reduced the magazine size down by 5 bullets, which I guess that's more just to reflect real world. That
yeah,
kind of clip that it has is a 25 round clip
yeah. Um,
plus one in the chamber. So
yeah, and like the nerf itself, like it brings the bugle more in line with the assault rifle, where it's a close to medium range weapon, right? Because they're like I've seen streams clips where people were like almost sniping across the map with the bugle, and like
yeah,
the range made no sense, right? So the bloom, just the further out it goes, the bigger the bloom is, which makes sense, right?
yep,
Um, so honestly, like it makes sense, and yeah, because once the H bar and the SG1 change came along, like you'd have almost full lobbies of bugles, and like I know there's metas, and there's always going to be a meta no matter what. And I think one thing, like it's not healthy for the game to have just one gun as being the meta. So now here it kind of brings it in line, and honestly, I like it's still viable. But
yep,
maybe now people are going to bring a sniper. If they bring it out on Phil Canton or Anakin type thing, they'll still bring out the bugle, but they'll maybe tag along with,
yeah,
uh, so it's just healthy, for I guess the weapon pool and stuff like that. So, but like
yeah.
I think H bar is still going to be in line now with the bugle, and a few other choices. Like I love the SVU, and
Yeah.
there's a few other guns too.
And I even heard some people on, like, I was watching a couple streams, and one person was saying, "Oh, the SVU is going to be the new meta just because it's such a good gun." Well, and
No,
the SVU is a gold gun.
yeah,
It has a really small clip, 11 round clip, and
yeah,
yeah, it's a really good gun. But it's not like anyone, not just
no,
anyone could pick up an SVU and be
no,
like instant good with it.
yeah,
The bugle, anyone could have picked up a bugle, and as long as they weren't,
yeah,
totally potato aiming,
yeah.
they were getting kills.
Yeah.
So
And that
there's
that
a
was my
difference.
argument too, is I had some
Yeah.
of my stream say the same thing, and I said no. I'm like, the SVU is a skilled weapon. You can't be, like you said,
Hmm.
anyone cannot just pick up an SVU and just dominate, because you have to
Yeah.
hit your shots. You have a small clip where you have 11 shots or 10 plus one in the chamber, and if you don't hit your shots, then you're reloading. The reload is like pretty quick on it, but still, right? Like it's like
Yeah.
under 2 seconds where you're not shooting, you're vulnerable. And so I honestly don't think, um like I love the SVU. I'll back it up anytime. But for me, it's not meta, is not like anyone could go in anyone's hands and they're gonna be good. Back before the H bar changes, in my opinion, some people used it as a crutch, because the huge clip size, the firing rate, um,
Yeah.
it was easy to get kills, with the H bar. compared to like say something like the SVU. So yeah, SVU high skilled weapon, not necessarily meta because I don't know how common it's going to actually be used. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we'll see if anything else comes out as a meta after this.
yeah,
But people talking about the SVU becoming a meta, no, I do agree. I'll probably see it more a little bit more often,
mhm.
but I don't think it's going to be like the meta. But I guess we'll see.
Yep,
Time will tell.
yep. Next, Booby Trap's got a buff. So it's actually fun. I actually got a Booby Trap kill like 2 weeks ago. Um, and I'm going to post the clip on Twitter. But yeah, so it takes four. It used to take four Booby Traps to actually get a kill. Now it's going to take two. Now this is like a full
Oh, okay.
HP Outlander.
Yeah.
So the Booby Traps were buffed. I don't. I'll keep going just because this is like a little short
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Sure.
Shootout weapons were refreshed and grenades were actually added as a consumable. So it's nice to see like Shootout kind of like the weapons being refreshed because it's been a few seasons that they have been like I think it was at the start of season 7 or season 8 the last time it was refreshed. So it's nice to see,
Yeah.
and not just that. I think the weapon pool has actually been expanded even more. So it's nice to see that. And the grenades are nice. And I actually, so you know how we have problems with roof campers? I had a roof
Yep.
camper. I couldn't get a shot at him. I had a grenade. No more roof
Oh, nice.
camper.
I haven't been so lucky with that yet. My grenades have been. Well, it's partly because I've been throwing them where I think someone is, and they're not
Yeah,
where I think they are, kind of thing. So I have to be a bit more selective when I throw them.
yeah,
Or I totally forgot I have grenades, and
yeah.
then I get
And
killed, and
that's the
I had
thing is
grenades.
like
Yeah,
in an encounter, I've never gotten a grenade kill yet because the same thing. I forget I have them, or I haven't hit anyone yet. But in the shootout
right.
game, I actually did it. So it was like well played. And then another big bug that kind of got fixed is the continuous car alarm bug that's been fixed. So that's kind of
Yeah,
nice because sometimes it's like you have a game and it just keeps going and going and going. Um,
that one was annoying if
yeah,
it happened.
yeah.
I don't know if they mentioned any other sound bugs because there have been some weird little ones that pop up on occasion. Like I think you've run into it if you hit ready
Oh,
just as
yeah,
the encounter was loading
yeah,
going in, then you get the ready sound the whole time.
yeah,
I know other people have had that.
yeah.
So, did they mention that one at all? I don't know if they did.
No,
I don't think
I
they
actually
mentioned it.
I've actually had that since the update.
Okay,
So, but it's not. It's definitely decreased in like frequency. So
right,
I know they had previously said it was fixed, and it did help a lot, but it was still happening. But it was just like smaller and smaller occurrences or reduced
right.
occurrences.
Okay. Those are the main ones now, I think, right? Yeah. Another few notable ones. For people who like, always had two weapons available for quick switching. There was a thing where sometimes there were times where if you did something like if you switched to a consumable or switched I can't remember, but then the quick switching would stop and
Mhm.
you'd have to manually choose your two guns again, and then you could use switching again, so that's supposedly fixed. um the Another thing that was that was fixed was your gun state before you use a consumable. So if you had your gun out, use a
Mm,
consumable, the gun would come out again. If you had your gun holstered, use a consumable, it was bringing your gun out again.
yeah,
Then now it's supposed to stay holstered.
yeah,
So I haven't necessarily tried that since. Like I typically, since I've played on this update, I don't think I've had that issue that I've noticed. So
yeah.
I'll take the word for it that it's fixed.
I always have my gun out because I'm ready to shoot. Like you never know when someone's
I
around. So
Yeah, but I tend to like, well, near the end of an encounter, if I'm running for the exit, because
yeah,
typically when I'm running for the exit, there's radiation.
mm,
So I want to have my gun away. I don't know if it actually improves my speed or not, but having your gun away makes it feel like you've
mm,
improved your speed. So I like to have my gun away, and then I'll use like if you use your say iodine or your caffeine, then it pulls your gun back out. You got to put the gun away and then start running again. It just it's a thing.
Yeah.
And other things like we'll put
Oh,
as we're talking. Obviously, we'll have the things on the list on the side, but we'll also put a link. Pardon me, in the description, just to where the change log is on their site, so you can go
yeah.
through it as well, just to see all the little things they tweaked. There's not really much point of talking about all this. It's like, ooh,
Yeah.
great, they added that. Okay, but
Yeah.
um, but yeah, those were a lot of the major things that they've done this update that I can think of. I don't think we've missed anything.
No, I think that's pretty much
Yeah,
the bulk of it.
yeah. If there was something about this update that you really liked or thought we should have touched on, let us know. In the comments below, or reach out to us on Twitter or one of the other avenues, in Twitch or something. We'd love to hear from you. But yeah, it's a good little update and not huge. Like I know there's been updates where they've totally changed the game, right? Where they bring out all these new loot POIs and all this weird stuff. And this one is more subtle. I like it. Um, there was quite a few quality of life improvements in it, and
Yeah.
that's typical, but they were good.
Yeah.
Nothing I can complain about.
Nope.
Um, and yeah,
Oh,
it's just
oh,
been pretty
I,
decent.
I
Oh,
just thought about one too. On your loadout screen, you could actually change your weapon skin from there.
oh,
That too.
yes.
That's another nice one.
That's a little UI one that was kind of cool. So instead of
Yeah.
having to go to the weapon area every time,
Yeah.
like not even the weapon area, the cosmetics screen where you have your outfits and all that, and to change your weapon skins there. Now, yeah,
Yeah.
you can do it right on the weapon.
Yeah.
It's only for the weapons you have in your loadout, which is totally fine because
Yeah. Makes sense.
if you want to mess around with all the other guns, then yeah, go to that other section. But if you're just loading up and you say, oh, I want to change my skin because I'm going into a snow map, I want a lighter skin, then boom, you just go in and
Yep.
change it. And that was a big one. I do agree with that one. That was really good. There was something I had noticed, and I'm not even sure. Maybe it was just if you're looting somebody and they had two of the same weapon, is it stacking them or something?
Uh,
Have you noticed that?
no.
That might just be a me thing because I was watching somebody. It was after the update, and it was like they were looting somebody who had two bugles and it had a number two on the bugle instead of having. Maybe I'm seeing things. We'll see.
Okay.
And it's one of those things I meant to confirm, but I just hadn't run across it yet. So
Okay.
maybe if anyone out there knows what I'm talking about, let us know. Am I crazy? I could have swore I saw that they had stacked the bugles for some reason when someone was looting a dead body. So I don't know, and maybe I'm sure it's not related, like limited to just
Oh,
bugles,
you know
but
what? No, I think I know what you're talking about. So it's when you go to pick up the gun and you already have two weapons in your inventory, so two
right,
primaries. So then,
yeah,
then because it's the person that you're looting has two bugles, instead of having it showed the icon of a bugle, but there's the number two on it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's what
all
I'm
it
talking
is.
about.
So you're not actually picking up two; you're only picking up one
No,
out of there. But
yeah,
yes,
I didn't think you were picking up two.
yeah,
It seemed like they were stacking the bugles on the body instead of having showing you
yeah,
the two locations for them. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Okay, so I'm not crazy.
yeah. That's
Well,
when you go to loot and you actually like click on like the bugle to pick it up, and then you have the choice. Remember how you have the choice of which weapon do you
yeah.
want to swap out? That's the screen that has the number two.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Well, that clears up that then. I knew I saw something. I just couldn't quite wasn't sure. So, all right. But I think that's all we really have to talk about. So, an actual shorter episode for once.
Woo!
Woo! And we're even recording this earlier than normal too. So we normally record on a Saturday night, and it's Friday afternoon during my lunch period, just because I had some plans for Saturday night. So, but the release of this, when you're getting this, it's the normal time. So it doesn't matter
Yeah.
to you guys. It's still released on the normal time.
Yep.
You're getting daytime Doc and DJ instead of nighttime Doc and DJ. So
Yep. Frees up
maybe
my
we're not
Saturday
quite as
night.
tired. Yeah, exactly.
Does anyone want to play some Vigor with me Saturday night? Oh wait, it's gonna be in the
Well,
past.
no, it's gonna be the next Saturday. Oh, you forget it. Anyways, thanks for listening. Please like, share, subscribe if you want.
Yep.
We appreciate it. But again, leave comments. We'd love to hear from you. But until next time, thanks for listening and stay safe in the Outlands. Have a good night.
Bye.
I've heard you say you lost your way, lost your way again. You don't see your reflection. Just look around and find it is something good. All you need will come to you. I'll never refuse you. Take whatever you want, so just get a hold. I know you'll find your way. No need to go the same. Grab your chance and flame up your dream. I know you'll find your way. You must be calm anyway. Grab your chance and flame up your dream. Flame up your dream. It's time to leave the place where you are forced to fade away. You barely breathe, heart is breaking in the chest. I'll make you feel that it's not real. Your thoughts because of which you barely live. I'll never refuse you. Take whatever you want, so just get a hold. I know you'll find your way. No need to go the same. Grab your chance and flame up your dream. I know you'll find your way. You must be calm anyway. Grab your chance and flame up your dream. Flame up I know you'll find your way. No need to go the same. Grab your chance and flame up your dream. I know you'll find your way. You must be calm anyway. Grab your chance and flame up your